Despite everyone's warnings. Y'all hear that helicopter flying above? I know y'all hear it. Despite everyone's warnings. Despite the helicopter flying above my head. This is the if story. This is the next if story we're doing. I said I would get back to the if stories. Once ReZero came back off of its little break, we're back. We did Wrath. We did Pride. It's time for the Lust if story. Why do ReZero fans act like I'm about to open the fucking cursed Bible every time? Every time, hey bro, do everything but lust. No, I'm doing lust. That just made me more curious. So without any further ado, Butterfly Dream, ReZero, Lust if story. Video by Echidnut. Okay.
Every year on
God damn, that shit loud as hell. That nigga Echidnut came in like it was a mixtape. What the Oh, I can already tell this lust story finna be on some bullshit, bro. Did he come in with the fucking the fucking Atlanta trap horn?
Every year on April 1st, the author of ReZero writes a spin-off story explaining what would have happened if Subaru went down a different route than the one we saw. If you happened to watch my last...
We watched Wrath. We did watch that. It was a couple months ago now, but we got through Wrath.
Video,
we also got through Pride.
To see Subaru as the Purge King.
Yep. The Purge King with his edgy ass. I do remember that. That was, I would say I definitely like the Pride if story more than the Wrath. The Wrath just seemed like overly edgy, like genocide route. It wasn't really my bag. But so far my ranking is Pride, Wrath, and then, you know, the jury is still out on Lust.
Well, now he's the Harem King. Welcome to...
Oh, no, it's Harem shit. Yeah. I mean, I figured, but... Okay, I don't... Just for context, you know, just so you know where my mind's at going into this. All right, first of all, I see Beatrice and Felt a bit too close to the gang over here. I don't... Anywho. Yeah, I hate with a passion, a burning passion, harems. I know it's like a staple to the isekai umbrella, the isekai genre. And I'm not necessarily against the idea of, like, you know, the MC having multiple options that they can pick from as the series is progressing, right? It leads to some drama, whatever. But I think when it's time to pick, it's time to pick. Okay, I've always found it just mad cornball that, like, you know what I mean? A lot of times these authors will cop out for their MCs whenever it's time to pick who they actually want to be with and kind of just go. Sorry, Mom, not right now. It kind of just go with, you know what I mean? They'll kind of just go with whatever. What was I saying? God, I got fully distracted. Oh yeah, I was saying that I don't like how authors cop out their MCs and instead of making them actually make a strong, solid final decision about who they want to be with, they go the route of, oh, just have everyone. Okay, that's one of the reasons that I didn't really rock with Mushoku Tensei after the last season. I didn't like when they started that. Obviously there's other things, but honestly the harem stuff was the main stuff for me that really got me done with that show. And one thing I do like about ReZero is that Subaru, for better or worse, you know, from the beginning through the end, or at least through what I've seen so far, it seems very committed to Emilia. Now, obviously, I think there's going to be some more implications into why that is. Probably shit dealing with Flugel. I don't know. I'm yapping, right? But this right here is already a setup that I don't like, because it looks like, all right, we're giving him Rem and Amelia at the same time. What's really going on here? It's already looking like some buns. So let's just see what's happening.
The butterfly dream, aka the harem if. This chapter is confirmed to be the Lust If story, but it was actually written before the author had figured out what he wanted the if stories to be. So Lust does—
Nah. That sounds like a cop-out. That sounds like the author wrote some crazy shit for whatever reason, and then said, oh yeah, y'all, this the Lust If story. That's why I was tweaking. I don't know.
Doesn't exactly belong with the other if story.
Okay, so it is kind of its own thing. Still gotta open the dialogue on it though.
Pride, sloth, wrath.
Yo, this is fucked up. Okay, so the lust story is the Neanderthal among the humans. Okay, so this came from the same author though. Interesting.
Greed and gluttony all show us what would have happened if Subaru had made the wrong decision at a specific—
Oh yeah, we don't have an envy story, do we? Interesting. Maybe it's still to come, or at the time this was recorded, it was still to come.
point in the story.
Oh yeah, that's the main route, Witch of Envy. Okay, right, makes sense. Wait, so we really don't know where the envy kicks in yet, do we? Because if each route is him committing a different sin, Subaru has been envious at points, but I don't think, you know what I'm saying? I don't think we've seen a route defining choice of envy. Interesting to think about.
All of which, by the way, are beautifully written works of art laced with world building, character development, lore, and information that has allowed us to appreciate ReZero at a higher degree than we ever thought possible. Right. Sadly, Lust does not fit that description at all. Again, it was written before the author had established what he wanted the if stories to be, so in comparison to the others, it's just not good. In fact, Lust is the only if story
on April Fool's, author wrote Butterfly Dream
that has ever been—
He removed it and deleted it. He expunged it. Ooh, now I'm really excited. He looked back and said, "Dog, was I wildin'? Let me take this. Let me take this off the record real quick."
And deleted by the author. The entire thing was actually written in one sitting, so I probably spent more time reading it than the author spent writing it. But that's because the story wasn't supposed to be good. You see, Lust was actually the author playing an April Fool's prank on the readers. The idea was to upload a ridiculous harem chapter and then delete it a day later, making the readers question their sanity.
Nah, you can't be. That's on your record now, bruh. You could have at least said at the end, yo, April Fool's something, whatever. You know, I think my headcanon is gonna be like, maybe he was like trolling the harem trope. Because I get based off the way the story's being written, I get the impression that he isn't a big fan of harems either. So maybe this is supposed to be like a troll chapter. Let's see what's going on.
He wanted the readers to wonder whether the story really existed or if they had just dreamt the whole thing, hence the title Butterfly Dream.
It was all a dream.
At the time of writing it, he didn't intend for it to be anything more than a funny prank, but years later confirmed that it was technically the Lust If.
Okay. this graph right here.
In my opinion, though, it should not be classified as an if story because it's just way too different than the others. It's also the only if story that hasn't been fully translated, so if I happen to make a mistake in this video, feel free to point it out in the comments. Anyway, we aren't sure where exactly this story diverges from the main plot.
Oh yeah, this how you know this about to be some bullshit. We don't even know where it fits in the storyline. Gonna be some straight bull.
I'm guessing it was somewhere in Arc 3, but it doesn't really matter anyway because the whole thing's a joke. Now, earlier when I said Subaru was the harem king, I meant it literally. In this story, Subaru starts out as the king of Lagunica after marrying all 5 royal selection candidates. King Subaru now lives—
Are we going to address how that happened? Wait. What happened to lead up to him marrying all 5 of the candidates? Who are the candidates? Krush, Amelia, red dress chick, can't think of her name right now. Anastasia, and I can't think of the 5th one. Priscilla. Ooh, that's not. Ooh, my brain was blocking me from thinking of the fifth one. My brain said, you don't want that information, my boy.
He's in the royal castle with his harem that consists of all 5 candidates as well as Rem and Petra.
And Rem?
The story
whoa. Okay. Here we go. We on some Reed Tensei shit, ain't we?
Begins with Subaru being woken up by Petra's voice.
Why would we start here? I'm scared, bro. I keep pausing. I'm already uncomfortable, bro. All right, I'm only 2 minutes in. Let's get it.
Breakfast is almost ready, so Petra wanted Subaru to hurry and wake up so they wouldn't be late. But right. Petra's voice was awfully close, like right next to his ear. Subaru rolls over and sees Petra in the bed, curled up next to him.
Could you have a seat right over there, please?
Yes, Subaru just woke up next to a 12-year-old.
How old was he? Subaru was like, what, 17 to 19? Yo, look, ReZero fans, I've been noticing the ReZero fans kind of at war with the Mushoku fans right now. You better hope they don't get their fingers on this information right here, bruh. Whew, this is wicked work. Why would you start like that? Like, okay, I get doing a little troll chapter for April Fools, but why would you go down this road?
Instead of immediately hiring a lawyer, Subaru grabs Petra and squeezes her body against his own in the bed because it was a cold morning and Petra's body heat was nice and warm, pressing up against Subaru. They exchange a bit of flirty dialogue, but eventually get out of bed and agree to walk to the dining room together.
Oh, well, this is, I feel my goat being like, I feel the image of Subaru being broken down in my head in real time. This isn't him, right? This is fake alternate reality. Okay. You know, this ain't Arbarasu, bruh.
They're already late for breakfast, so Petra and Subaru, hand in hand, hurry down the red carpeted hallway of the royal castle.
Let's move on to the next
Arriving at the dining room, Subaru is greeted by Krush's angry voice.
Okay.
You're late, she says.
So Krush is gonna be like the hard ass, right?
Subaru gets nervous and tries to come up with an excuse, but Krush reminds him that she can see right through his lies with her divine protection of wind reading. She then accuses him of flirting with Petra, to which Subaru can't exactly deny.
So she's in the harem calling him out on his weirdness. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, good shit, Krush. I knew even if Krush was in this madness, I knew at the very least Big Krush would stand for something. Shout out Krush. I need to see Amelia standing for something too, though.
He feels bad, so he gives Krush a big hug and tells her that he didn't mean to offend her. But as the two of them are hugging each other, they suddenly realize their faces have drawn very close together. Now, usually when this type of situation occurs, in most harems, the characters will get all embarrassed and jump away from each other.
Right.
Well, in this story, Krush and Subaru start making out. I'm talking tongue action and everything, just right there in the middle of the dining.
Okay. So if this was being written before it was even the Lust If story, what was getting out of, what was Big Dog trying to accomplish here? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Anyway, Krush is suddenly depicted as delicate and feminine. As she's kissing Subaru.
Oh no, they took her hard assery away. Took away everything that made her cool, bruh.
Her eyes start to water and her ears turn red. But as soon as the kiss is over, Krush immediately switches back to her normal, more masculine personality. All that kissing must have worked up quite an appetite, because right after they're done, they just sit down next to each other and start eating breakfast like nothing happened. Subaru takes a bite and then the scene changes.
Okay, so he was really writing some bullshit, bro. We just got a bunch of loosely, barely interconnected scenes for Subaru to just dog out.
Later that day, Subaru's in his office with a large stack of documents piled up on his desk. He's incredibly
right. He is the king, so I guess he does political work.
Stressed about all the work he has to do as the king of Lagunica, but luckily Rom is there in the room with him.
Rom.
Subaru begs...
Is Rom part of the... I'm sure she is. I'm sure she's part of the harem.
Begs her to help him with the documents, and after a bit of resistance, she reluctantly agrees. Unlike Subaru, Rom's clerical work is...
Body had to get this, you know, my body's taking in too much of this story. I had to release some from out my brain through my nose with the little sneeze. Let's keep it pushing.
Surprisingly fast and efficient. Subaru notes that it's probable that Rom had also been doing office work behind the scenes at the Roswell mansion. He briefly watches Rom's profile facing the documents and observes her tense, emotionless expression. A smile from Rom is extremely rare, but when it does emerge, it reminds Subaru of a beautiful flower that only blooms about once a year. Subaru then tells Rom that...
I mean, hey, that's a cool little metaphor to bring up, you know. They still got some... I'm not going to say it's well written, but, you know, I respect the metaphor there. It was pretty cool.
When she isn't talking, she's actually very cute.
Simile,
Rom replies with her usual string of insults, followed by a surprisingly polite request for Subaru to please not...
Really? I don't like it when you compare
her with her sister. It was out of character for Rom to speak this way with Subaru, and something about it was oddly pleasant. They then return to the documents and continue working together in silence. Suddenly, the door bursts open and Priscilla barges...
Okay, yeah, now it's finna get wicked. I'm not gonna lie, though. Shout out Priscilla, that's all I'm gonna say.
Announcing that it's her turn to spend time with Subaru.
Damn, they dead running the gauntlet on this man?
Ignores her and continues working on his documents, but Priscilla kicks over the table in anger. Subaru rushes to catch the fallen items and tries to pick everything up off the floor, and after confirming that nothing's been broken, he sighs and explains to Priscilla that he's been really busy with all these documents. It's then revealed that Subaru's been bringing new technologies to ReZero.
Okay, hey, that's kind of cool. That's I don't know why they had to funnel that into the lust route, but I do like the idea of, you know, tech Baru, you know, bringing Earth tech or our universe's tech to Lagunica.
For example, he used a small fire crystal to create a portable furnace, or as we call it, a lighter.
Okay, kind of cool. Wait, what does he need a lighter for? Maybe to warm something up. Let's not...
way people can cook stuff even if they can't use fire magic. By the way, in Obereru, Subaru made most of his money by doing the same kind of thing, so maybe this helped him convince all the candidates to marry him. Interesting.
Okay. I mean, that is a route he could have taken. If this was a very different type of story, I can dead-eye see a whole anime, you know, a little mid-ass isekai that comes out for 2 seasons, 2 years apart, with the whole concept being... and it probably already exists. You got isekai into another world, and you bring, you know, the technology from your world to that world using the items and magic of that world. I could see that being a whole thing.
I don't know, but this whole concept of bringing new inventions to the ReZero world seems to be pretty common for Subaru across all the timelines. Anyway, he tries to show Priscilla the lighter, but it malfunctions and the fire crystal starts overheating. In a few seconds, it'll explode in Subaru's face, causing possibly fatal injuries.
Priscilla, save him!
But Priscilla quickly pulls her fan out of her cleavage and slices the lighter.
Like usual, nothing. I like how that line out of context would sound like some lust route bullshit, but no, that's just how it usually goes.
Saving Subaru's face from being horribly burnt. Subaru thanks her for protecting him and decides that maybe he can take a short break from his work and spend some time with Priscilla. This made Priscilla pretty happy, so she walks up, sits on Subaru's lap, and then wraps her arms around him, pulling him close. Even though he's been touched by Priscilla many times before, he still isn't used to it. The sensation of her fingertips on his neck made his lips moisten, and then Priscilla leans in and starts kissing Subaru.
Made his lips moisten. All right, boom. It's like 11, we about halfway through, a little less than halfway through. And Subaru is continuing to run the gauntlet. We're not even halfway through. I think I can already pretty reasonably rate this as the worst if story. But got to see it through.
That lucky bastard. Whatever, let's move on to Anastasia.
What the
Anastasia's
fuck was
on the
that
couch
picture,
across
bruh?
from Subaru.
She didn't even have her hat on.
A big pile of documents. It seems that the Hoshin Trading Company was able to successfully expand their markets into Lagunica now that Subaru was king. The two of them exchange dialogue for a bit, and after the conversation's over, Anastasia gets up and sits down right next to Subaru.
How do we know this not actually Fox Echidnut? Think about that.
They start cuddling together like lovers do, and Subaru strokes Anastasia's hair. It was long and soft and felt like the hair of a little baby animal. While Subaru's essentially petting Anastasia, she nuzzles her nose into his chest like some kind of cat or something.
Yo, is this Fox Echidnut? Hold on, was this low-key like foreshadowing Fox Echidnut? He's petting her like an animal. She's nuzzling like an animal. Maybe there was more to this If story than we thought. I guess we got to see it all the way through now. Why everyone trying to duck out now? What's about to happen? What's everyone scared of?
After some time passes, Subaru eventually returns to his room where he finds Felt lying in his bed. So, once again, let's think about this from a legal perspective.
Oh, nope.
But Subaru tells Rem that she's actually the one who needs to be careful. As he says this, he touches Rem's stomach, which was noticeably larger than it used to be.
Whoa. Damn, we about to have Subaru kids now? Subaru kids now?
Yes, Rem is pregnant with Subaru's child. So not only is Subaru a pimp in this story, but he is also a daddy as well.
Wait, when did he become a pimp? What did I skip in that Felt? I don't even want to know.
Nowadays, Rem spends most of her time preparing for the baby, knitting clothes and things like that. She asks Subaru if he would prefer the baby to be a boy or a girl. Subaru thinks about it for a bit and then tells Rem if it's a girl, he will treasure her and love her and spoil her so much that she'll want to marry her own father.
ReZero fans, let's talk about it. ReZero fans, let's talk about it. This is not canon. It was written though. That's not super. This shit was written and published. You know what really is perplexing to me, right? I'm really trying to sit here and really truly understand. Like, I get it, all right. You know, you want to troll, you want to do your little April Fool's joke, whatever. What goes through your head that makes you say, like, yeah, this is the joke I want to pull right here. Mind you, this could have, he could have just done a this concept could have worked without the inclusion of certain characters. Let's say it like that. You know what I mean? The concept itself is stupid, all right? I feel like if you're going to go a lust route for Subaru and you actually wanted to do it in line with the story, I mean, there's several paths you can go, right? I think you could have Subaru. What the hell? Someone just ran by. You could have Subaru, you know, make unfortunate decisions in regards to his relationship with the Witch of Envy. There's a lot of routes you could go that are, you know, perfectly shocking. You know, that are equally as shocking for an April Fool's joke. You know, Frederica, I'm saying there's a lot of different ways you can go. This, again, it's just, I'm trying to figure out because, and then you got to like take all things into account. Like, I know they be calling him the little girl user in canon, and then it's like, okay, you know, I can that's not really funny, but I'll let it slide, I guess. But then it's like, what is this? Where's my inhaler? Hold on, this shit, nigga need an inhaler. I'll be right back. All right, let's keep it going.
And if it's a boy, then he'll pass down his own father's tradition and become his biggest obstacle, his greatest rival, and his partner in crime. Rem blushes as she listens to Subaru's little monologue and gives him a happy smile. Her smile was so cute that Subaru couldn't help it anymore. He calls Rem's name and she immediately knew what he wanted. Rem closes her eyes and Subaru kisses her, her tongue stretching out somewhat. They hug each other tight the entire time, entangling their love with one another.
Yo, if this nigga don't turn off this happy ass DoorDash commercial music, what the fuck is this?
Subaru was supposed to finish his big load of office work before he went to bed, but as we saw,
hold on. There's an ad. Should I wait for the ad to play out so niggas can't escape this? If I gotta watch it, everyone gotta watch it.
A bit sidetracked by all of his hoes. He's finally got some free time to finish
Like, wait, what happened with Amelia? Did we see what happened with Amelia?
Up his work, but instead he decides to go visit his main bitch. Opening the door, he walks into Amelia's room and sees her sitting on the edge.
Can we at least get something interesting with Amelia? I feel like, come on.
Of the open window with her hair swaying in the breeze. Amelia was a bit surprised that Subaru was visiting her at nighttime, but she happily welcomes him with a smile. Amelia's kind words make Subaru shed a tear. Her presence felt like it healed away all the stress he had accumulated as the king of Lagunica. Turning away to hide his face out of embarrassment, Subaru tries to leave the room, but Amelia stops him and pulls his head into her chest. She touches his back with a slow rhythm as if she was comforting a child. Subaru was exhausted from his busy day.
Exhausted from what? This nigga ain't did shit all day talking about exhausted, bruh.
So after a while, he tells Amelia it's time for him to go to bed, but Amelia offers to let him sleep in her room. Subaru agrees and embraces Amelia with a hug, and the two of them fall into her bed together. Subaru says goodnight and then tries to fall asleep, but he's interrupted by Amelia saying 𝙏𝙖𝙡𝙠. Yes, Amelia tells Subaru she loves him.
Oh shit, is she the witch of envy?
The two of them start kissing and the chapter ends. Now the next day, the entire story was deleted and replaced by a short bit of text. The text explains the parable of the butterfly dream, but it's written from the perspective of Echidnut. Now Echidnut is a season 2 character, but I'm not going to give any spoilers in this.
Yeah, we know who Echidnut is. That how you say her name? I'll be saying Echidnut. This nigga left a parable with niggas? Okay, let's
video,
hear.
So there's no need
Let's
to
hear what it says
or anything like that. One day, a man dreamt he was a butterfly, but when he woke up, the man wasn't sure whether it was a dream or if he really was a butterfly who was now dreaming that he's a man. Isn't it fascinating? Those who have dreams are forced to either accept them or let go. Perhaps a dream held such weight that the dreamer themselves lost sight of reality. Would they then consider reality a dream? And what of someone who has many dreams, each with their own characteristics? Which of those dreams is reality to them? I wish I could be there to find out.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. There's no amount of purple prose you drop in the next day that's gonna unwrite what you put on those niggas' screen, bro. There's no amount of philosophy. There's no amount of yap you can put in front of me that makes me go, oh, okay. No, actually, I understand why he would write that. Mind you, we skipped a large chunk. Skipped a cool little chunk. And I don't even want to know what's in the chunk that we skipped. But what I'm getting from that little parable, okay, if we can't tell dreams from reality, how do we know this isn't the canon route and that the route we're watching now, the envy route, if you will, is a dream? That's the question you have to ask yourself.
The end. So yeah, that crazy harem story was replaced by some poetic words about confusing dreams with reality, which is what the author intended this story to be. Remember, all of this was a prank. The lust if wasn't...
Nah, yeah, it could be a little April Fool's joke. You're not, it's just a pranking out of this one, bro. Hey, bro, it's just content, bro. That's like the new, it's just a prank. Hey, bro, chill, it's just content. I don't care.
Supposed to be in the same category as the other if stories, so it wouldn't be fair to compare it with them. Anyway, we didn't really gain much of anything from this if story. I guess one positive thing I can say about it is that some parts were pretty funny. Everyone was so out of character that it just felt way too stupid sometimes, and I couldn't help but laugh at a couple moments. I think my favorite part of the story was actually Subaru's relationship with Rem. Out of all the interactions, the part with Rem felt the most realistic to me. Anyway,
yeah, them ending up having a kid and so on and so forth.
I didn't hate the story, but it's kind of a letdown when you give it the name.
What is this? Oh, that's an edit. It better be a fucking edit.
Name Lust If. Again, this story was written before Pride, Wrath, Gluttony, and Greed, so the author hadn't figured out what he wanted the if stories to be yet.
So I guess maybe he approached this initial if story in a very tongue-in-cheek, if that's what you want to call it. You know what I mean? Our idea of what's tongue-in-cheek is a lot different than the idea of what's tongue-in-cheek, you know, overseas. I guess maybe the author was initially thinking the if stories would be less serious explorations, less serious what ifs, and more just fucking off the wall stupid in comparison to the main canon. And I guess if you look at it from that perspective, it's a bit better. It makes a bit more sense. But I don't know, man.
And that's why I think the Lust If should be rewritten as a proper if story to fit the standards set by the other stories.
If you had to rewrite the Lust If to have it work as a proper story, how would you go about doing that? I think I know how I would do it. So a lot of, I'd say, how do I put this? Subaru's relationship with Amelia is very strong because they're both very pure-hearted in the way they view one another, right? Subaru looking past his more carnal desires, and Amelia just being kind of an airhead who doesn't, you know what I mean, who doesn't give a damn about any of that stuff that we know of. I think if we had a lust story where, you know, the sort of corruption is that Subaru, excuse me, where the corruption comes from Subaru just not being as benevolent as he is, right? And then maybe, you know, he tries to, you know, like he tries to force a relationship with Amelia, which ends up pushing her away, which ends up fucking up the whole timeline that as we know it. You know what I mean? I think that can be an interesting way to approach lust, right? Because one thing I have always found interesting about Subaru and his relationship with Amelia is that even though he is very attracted to her, he kind of doesn't seem to be pursuing anything with that attraction, right? Like he doesn't even know that she loves him back in a similar way. You know, the version of him who does know, Nubaru, is, you know what I mean, isn't even the Subaru that has all the memories from Lagunica. And so I think if you explored what would happen if he tried to like force a relationship or pursue a relationship with her too early on, and then they end up breaking up and going their separate ways, and Subaru becomes evil or an incel, or, you know, and then you start going down a similar path that you do with Pride or Wrath, where it's kind of just him becoming the villain. That's maybe how I would do it, but that's a lot different than what we got, you know?
But yeah, what did you guys think about the Lust If? Did this seem realistic at all? I mean, with infinite lives, could Subaru actually maintain a harem with all of those girls?
I mean, with infinite lives, he did like kind of half beat Reinhardt in one timeline. So, you know what? Let's move on. Let's move on. The question really becomes, how are you going to have a Lust If story, but then not have Subaru get with Julius? That's the question you really have to ask yourself.